Last week we recorded this podcast, and the video stopped recording. So we're here again to kind of pick up where we left off. We had a great chat last week. I really enjoyed it. So it's kind of disappointing and deflating that it didn't record. From the flip side, got to hang out with Patrick. Got to chat the chat. So yeah, he's up getting his pints. Guinness Zero, would you believe? But I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Till then, like do you know what day it is? It's Halloween. It's October 31st. I'll talk a little bit maybe about that, the Irish origins, and how Halloween is for Irish people like ourselves trying to figure it out in the new world. So Patrick is up there getting his pints, and when he arrives, hopefully we'll get into it. So I'll see if he actually orders the Guinness Zero as well. That was my request, but we'll see what happens. Hi, good man.
We go again.
I see you didn't.
Yeah, well, that's a good contrast, isn't it?
It is. My hand, it's bigger.
Let me get this on there.
You know what? I've said this before, but I do appreciate the Guinness Zero that it fills up to the brim and I can actually see.
Yeah, I know, right?
Makes it feel more real.
Yep. Okay, there we go. All right.
Jesus, yours gets a lot nicer though.
She's a pretty fucking pint, all right.
Give it a
You
second.
can really see the difference between the American pint size and the proper, the baby pint.
It's always so disappointing whenever you get one of these small glasses.
I know.
I'm like, did you not hear me? Did you not hear the voice?
See, I ordered
Yeah.
a pint.
Well, you still got your accent strong. My accent's pathetic.
Your accent, you know?
Yeah.
No.
My accent goes all over the place. It's probably more Irish when I talk.
I've noticed it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah. It's
And I get told that mine gets thicker by Americans that are with me at home when I'm home.
Yeah.
So
do you get the same thing whenever you're home and you have a few drinks and that your accent starts to like fade into American territory?
I don't think so. My mom.
Oh, neither to me then. Neither. That's all. Never.
My mom would be like, "Geez, you're sounding a bit American there now." She said it once or twice, and I stored that away. But like, that's not happening.
People don't even recognize my Irish accent sometimes. That's how assimilated and shallow. We'll say.
It's nice to be back in this little cozy corner, isn't it?
It is. I feel like it's our spot.
Yeah, it's a good wee
At
spot.
some point, we'll have like Patrick and Paul up on the wall somewhere with a plaque and whatever else.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Good to see you.
I guess it's the length of my pint.
We'll have to drink slower. So what's been going on in your world?
Busy enough week. Like, I'm preparing to go for a 10-day conference in Hawaii.
That's right.
Which
Lucky for some.
there will not be pints of Guinness had out there.
Yeah.
I'm on the Big Island. I did find the good Irish pub on Maui.
Right? There has to be one.
There isn't on the Big Island. I found it on Maui, which was very, very good.
Yeah.
And Wes Meadman was general manager.
Yep.
But no, I won't be having Guinness out there. And then tomorrow's Halloween.
Yeah.
So probably the last trick or treat.
Oh, for your son?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 15, but he's got a 6-year-old brother as well.
Yeah.
That he's kind of like tagging along with. But I think he's tapping out at this stage as well.
Yeah. Is there anything we can possibly give out to the kids that's not Halloween candy? Especially the Halloween candy over here that's like that Hershey's chocolate and Skittles and all that. Like is there something else?
I think if you gave what we got when we were kids, like fucking apples and oranges and
eggs,
a couple of eggs, yeah. No, I think I used to get some 20p pieces. I remember the golden coin with the horse on it.
That's right. The classic ones.
Yeah, the 20p coin. That's what I remember getting thrown in sometimes, but with the monkey nuts and with apples and.
Yeah.
Very few actual sweets when we were doing it.
I'll give you a word. Take it back. The Barn Brack.
Yes, the Barn Brack. That's right.
Classic.
Yeah.
Did they put rings and stuff in
there? Little rings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I'll tell you something about my Irish mommy, what she did. And she hated Halloween. She actually she was always complaining about how dirty and messy and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But she'd give it her all, obviously in true Irish mommy fashion.
Yeah.
She used to bake apple tarts. That was her thing. And there'd be like 50p's and pound coins
In the
inside
tart?
the apple tart.
Oh, that's cool.
So you'd bite in, you might break your tooth, but at least you'd be,
Get some pocket money to...
relatively wealthy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Pocket money. That's a far better word than allowance, right?
It was pocket money I got. 50p.
50p.
Yeah. And I spent it. I didn't save it. I spent it.
Yeah.
Remember the packets of Frosties?
Oh, Frosties.
The
Yes.
10p Frosties?
This is where we really show our age as well. It's not
I
just showing where we're from. It's
Their cola flavour and their apple flavour. That was me. I'd go...
You just brought me back. The Frosties. You know what we used to call sweets back in the day, back in Ballina?
What?
They were called jujus.
Juju.
Jujus.
J-U-J,
I have
Juju.
no idea.
Okay.
Jujus. So we would go, you want to go get some jujus down the shop?
Yeah.
And the shop would be down some alley. And then it used to always be the case when you'd go into the shop, it would go ding, ding, ling, ling.
Yeah, yeah.
And the shopkeeper would come out a couple of minutes later.
Yeah.
And they'd fucking know whether you lifted something. There was no need for cameras. There was like they fucking knew. But that used to be the way, right? But certainly where I grew up in Ballina, like all the kids' shops and all the sweets and all.
We had our tenpenny bags.
Yeah.
Remember tenpenny bags?
Absolutely.
And then, but my one of my best mates, one of the lads grew up on the same street as me. His mum works on the local newsagent, so I could go over and like give her 10p, and she could give me 100 jellies back. Like I did not come upon my love of sweets in a strange way. I was enabled.
This is a funny thing. Like every time you say something, it sparks something, and I want to get straight into it.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to talking to. I talked to my brother Stephen about this and how like Irish people, like they're always looking for the next joke. Like it's like as if like it's brewing subconsciously. It's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You know, you're not looking for it, but you're waiting. You
Yeah.
know, it's your brain is waiting for it.
Well, what are you jumping in on now?
So no, just all of it. Just going back to the memories of like the jujus and even just you mentioned newsagents was like my crime spree of like 1993, where I robbed, and this is the thing I feel guilty about.
Jesus, the confession.
This is the confession. I went to Hallowed's newsagents, and incidentally, Hallowed's was owned by one of my best friends.
Okay.
So he lived upstairs, so it was his fucking shop.
Yeah.
I robbed a diary, a £5 diary. And in the day, I was like 10 years old, or 11 years old. So
yeah.
A diary, £5 was like a big fucking. So yeah, I robbed
it. Like a proper thief. Yeah.
Put it down my pants.
Do they know?
Out the door. And nobody ever knew. I fucking didn't get caught with shit. And that, listen, I wasn't a bad.
No,
that was the one. That was the
I remember down in this toll. I have an aunt and uncle down in this toll in County Kerry, and I used to get the bus with one of my other cousins down there.
Yeah.
The first thing we'd always sneak onto the pitch and putt courses and never pay. So that's a form of stealing, whatever. but
a victimless crime.
Yeah, exactly. There used to be a garage, a newsagent in the shop, right by where we had to wait for the bus.
Yeah.
And I remember stealing a couple of Yorkies, raisin and biscuit Yorkies. And
how old were you? What was your crime spree? How old were you?
13 or 14.
Yeah, that's the one, is this? I mean,
yeah, it's about that.
Yeah.
And then as I got a little older, 15, 16, with my pocket money that I couldn't really afford to get much or anything with.
Yeah.
As I got older, I got into flying mags. I wanted to learn how to fly. And my initial dream was to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And I started to get all these.
You had notions.
Flying magazines. Yeah. Like, look, the flying magazines are expensive. You walk into Easton's and the sticker would be on the front.
How much?
So I can't remember what it was. Let's say it was fucking 4 quid or something, right? And I'd walk to another part of the shop, get a cheaper magazine, open it, and peel the sticker off with my finger, and then walk over to the flying magazine section and just replace the price.
Is it justified?
So I was just like strategic, robbing, as opposed to just fucking
justified. I was still paid for it, so like in your head you go,
I was like, I paid what I could afford.
A friend of mine now, and this wasn't in a skill. A friend of mine walked out. When he was like 15 or 16, and you couldn't get these in the Republic of Ireland, but you get porno mags in the north of Ireland. He stole a porno mag.
Okay.
Walked out, was walking across the football pitch across the road to the Slim's Gill, and the shopkeeper, he knew his dad, chased him over, grabbed him, and just scrubbed the neck.
Got the leaf out of it.
He was caught stealing.
That's fucking hilarious. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, so my diary wouldn't have got me in as much trouble, but my poor parents would have flipped. Like, what kind of message had they given me that I was doing things like that?
And so that was a spin-off. The original question was, could we give today or anything other than sweets to kids trick or treating today?
Yeah.
I don't think you could. Is the easy answer.
One of the things that was suggested was dollar bills, which again, it's like it sounds a little bit even more like money capital, whatever. But like, it's at least you're not wasting shit and you're giving something that's like a kid actually maybe wants. I might do that.
That's true. Well, you're putting it to chance. The kid might fucking save it, or the kid might go and
who knows,
spend it on something other than a bar.
Invested in the shift.
Yeah, exactly. Like he could be the next entrepreneur coming behind. Yeah, exactly. But I tell you, Halloween, I don't like it. I don't have happy memories of it.
Oh, really?
It's a very
just watching your back, looking for eggs being thrown at you. Is that what?
Yeah, it was very intimidating.
Yeah,
rough.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, rough and tough.
Yeah.
Fireworks being thrown at you, eggs being chucked at you.
Yeah.
The trick or treating was a minor part of it, and I do think the cities have different experiences than the rural experience with it, and some of the rural traditions that were around my family were really cool, like turning off all the lights and putting candles and opening all the doors and welcoming the spirits in. Like some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I think being in Dublin City was
shite. It was a bit more real.
Yeah, it's like proper. And I remember a couple of times like feeling properly moved by this stuff, even mid-teens.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a load of shite or whatever. But you definitely have that ghostly feeling to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's when I was listening to Blind Boy podcast. We featured it in the newsletter.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was last week. Blind Boy, he's fantastic, by the way. That's my favorite podcast. He's like, it goes really deep and stuff. It's a little bit crazy sometimes, but it's like he really tells a story. It's fantastic. But he in typical Irish fashion took the whole is looking at it and being all, fuck the capitalism, fuck all the plastic, all the waste, or whatever. He's like, I totally agree with it all. It does get totally out of hand.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the roots of Halloween, and listen, everyone is going around. Every Irish person, I think, these days is going around telling the world about Halloween's origins in Ireland. But he talks about where he said was the origin of Halloween was in like a cave in Roscommon.
I had read that.
Did you hear that?
I had read that somewhere. It wasn't on his podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, somewhere. Yeah, a little like. Not even like, I mean, the entrance is a tiny little hole or something.
Yeah.
And it opens up deeper in.
Yeah, and they've got like some own scripts and all.
Yeah.
Of like, talking about the spirits coming out and then come out.
Yeah.
And that when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest on that night.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And then there's like, I know it's been going around. I didn't know this. Well, I guess maybe I did. I remember in school back in the day, in primary school, we would have done Jack-o'-lantern story.
Yeah.
So I would have known about that, but
yeah.
Then obviously lately everyone's talking about how that was the inspiration for.
Did you ever remember? Did you carve turnips or play with turnips more than pumpkins? Okay,
never.
Yeah.
Well, some of Garen was on that. Did you see what Garen's did his post? Garen.
Did he do a thing on
because he did a social media post on the video on carving his first pumpkin.
Yeah.
But then the next day he was talking about how everyone was giving him shit. Of course, in typical Irish fashion, everyone was like, oh, why aren't you using the pumpkin? Or why are you using the pumpkin? You should be using the turnip. And he showed a picture of the turnip in the background. He's like, this is the reason.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
They're fucking terrifying.
With proper scary looking yolks.
So like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Hilarious.
He's brilliant. Garen.
And it's funny it does feel like at some point Halloween became American.
Yeah.
And kind of commercialized it and probably turned it into what our children are experiencing today.
Totally.
But it's also
we were getting there, I think, but not as much.
No, I don't think so. Like at least I know my nieces and nephews at home carve pumpkins now, but I never carved a fucking pumpkin or touched a pumpkin or even really knew a pumpkin.
Is it not as simple as disposable income? Like nowadays, even
that's probably not to do with
it. Like if we had, because we were talking about this before, like we used to be like a black bag, like with a hole cut in the middle of the black bin bag over your head.
Yeah, that was a costume. That was
it.
Yeah,
or like a pillowcase with the eyes cut out.
Yep.
But that's probably all due to if someone had given us, like, imagine being your parents funding a real costume back in the day. That would have been like absolutely unheard of.
No, and the most I remember, like we progressed from the black sacks with the eyes cut out, or the pillowcases with the eyes cut out and being ghosts or whatever. And then we progressed to, I don't know, like Darth Vader masks. Just the mask.
Yes. Yeah. But you remember the plastic mask that would cut the fuck out of you? Remember those, like the cheapest plastic? They would always split.
They'd always split. Yeah. Yeah, that was one. They're the ones I'm talking about. They're just this like simple elastic around your head with the face mask. Yeah.
No, it's funny.
It's a long way from that we were raised.
Yeah. It's over the top, but it's I don't know. It's the plastic. My girlfriend lives in New Orleans, and it has like the Mardi Gras tradition. It's fucking amazing. But I love everything to do with it, except it's all the plastic and the throws. And it's the same sort of thing. It's like, so like you've got this amazing cultural side of people dress up, and then you have this amazing, beautiful cultural experience that goes on for weeks. But then it's like the plastic that people throw out of these floats nonstop, and you're like, is that necessary to go that far? Like, it's sort of, so it's the same thing in Halloween. You have all the shit and all the candy and everything else. And
there's a lot to be said for, I think, the fact that we're in a position now where we're reclaiming it, at least from a cultural point.
Absolutely,
it's a reflection of the reach that we have globally.
Yeah,
social media helps, obviously.
Yeah,
and people like Garen and Blind Boy being able to do that and talk to millions in an instant.
Yeah,
it's got to be like that's culturally significant.
Yeah,
there
was someone else on social talking about that. I just mentioned it earlier, but it was making a joke about how it was like this guy who's like, he's a German guy in Ireland, or an Ireland guy in German that does his personas are like an Irish guy and a German guy. And it's talking with the German guy going, will you shut up? Here we go again. Every Irish guy is talking about how Halloween belongs to the Irish.
Yeah.
It's really funny back and forward, but it speaks to the whole, like, yes, we're reclaiming this. This is ours. Don't fuck it up.
My ex used to joke about, make fun of me, because I've never seen the movie, but apparently My Big Fat Greek Wedding, there's a character in it that whatever is mentioned, he attributes it. He's able to tie it back and connect it to being Greek.
Okay. Yeah, yes.
And I remember saying about Halloween, about being Irish and stuff like that to a couple of people, and I was made to feel that way. It's like, oh, Jesus, fucking, you claim everything's Irish. You invented fucking everything.
That was another one. Yeah, what the Irish invented. What did the Irish invent? Colon and sick with a hangover. That's fair enough. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's true.
So listen, Hawaii. What does an Irishman do in Hawaii if there's no pubs on the island?
Well, the depth of the conference is fairly deep. I'll be in session from 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning until 6.
Yeah,
and then 2-hour dinners every night afterwards.
Right. So it's pretty.
But I always fly in for particularly if I'm going somewhere where I haven't been before.
Mm-hmm.
For work, I'll build in days.
Yeah,
both sides if I can, so I can play tourist. So I've booked a few like helicopter tours, and I've
heard that's fun.
Yeah. And the Big Island is all volcanoes, active volcanoes and stuff like that. And there's eruptions a couple of years ago, so like there'll be some cool stuff to see.
Your second favorite island, right?
Pardon me?
Second favorite island?
Yeah, Maui's the favorite. Yeah. Maui's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Well, listen. What about Shift? What's the latest with Shift? How you feeling?
Yeah, more and more confident by the day. The momentum behind the support, the more that we talk about it, to people in the industry or that might be able to back it, has been really, really positive. And I keep on waiting for someone to pinch me.
What's the latest elevator pitch? What's the latest one-liner that you're gravitating towards? How do you describe it?
I think it's how we connect the Irish people globally.
Yeah.
And Irish people is broad.
Yeah. I was trying to wrap my head around that, and one of the things I think I printed out one of our. We're at the Auld Shebeen, so we're gonna put up a poster that says sign up for the Craic. But actually, you need to pass it on to your friends as well. Yeah, you.
We are at that point. We are at the point where we can start to share it. Like, I think it was in the quiet research. Keep it quiet for a long time, and it's what's really exciting is feeling it come out of
your brain,
Ethereum and idea in my brain to stuff like this, where we're talking about, we're working on logos. I'm speaking with the entity creations people. I'm speaking with patent and trademark people. Like, I'm inventing something that, whether it gets big or not, it's going to do some good.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's my main driver, is helping people.
Yeah.
And so I think I feel joy in just that alone. So if there's a way to help people like us, expats, Irish people traveling, people that just love going to Irish bars because they know that's where the crack is.
Yeah.
If there's a place to go and meet the people and know where to go to do it, that's putting good out.
I was thinking lately, do you remember when listen, my family, we had 8 kids, we didn't travel fucking anywhere. So let me just start with that. We didn't travel anywhere. So the idea of us going to Europe, but we saw our rich neighbors coming home from driving around Europe with the IRL.
Yeah.
You know, the circular sticker about IRL?
Yep.
And IRL is in real life. That's the acronym for in real life.
Right. Yep.
Which is, I think it's fucking perfect for...
It is perfect.
Because that's what this... And especially after the pandemic when people were fucking miserable. And even now, like, people are working from home and still there's like a loneliness and epidemic, and people are not maybe getting out as much as they might hope.
I think it's coming around.
Yeah.
I feel it coming around.
I think people want it and need it and are doing it again.
I do. I agree with that. And I think that there's more value. There's so much value in these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Where you're at your local having a chat.
Yeah.
That the pandemic just put away, and people have been slow to be confident going back to.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about I talk about it in work, and we're doing obviously software and the tech stuff, and AI is threatening to sort of like just monopolize content and everything being just this fake, picture perfect, whatever. And it's like I believe it's gonna push the need for more IRL, more in real life conversations. It's like it's and blemishes and all,
Yeah.
You want to, the beauty in people is their imperfection, like that's what makes people human.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like certainly what's making me think about this whole endeavor is just, the deep at the heart of it. It's like getting people together. It's like, the true inclusiveness of Irish culture, which is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. I can't remember if I mentioned that on our first podcast, but the pub is such a center.
Yeah.
And it's where you meet your friends or you meet your family. Funerals are held there, wedding celebrations are held there.
Yeah.
I feel like I had therapy sessions with my mate. Yeah. I had never had a therapy before I came to America. In fact, I hadn't gone to therapy until 3 years ago, say. But I feel like I had therapy sessions by having chats like this.
Yeah.
Music is quiet, no TV, it's just fucking having the chats,
This is a very common situation. Darren, obviously our partner in all this, he met his wife in the pub one night, Ireland's forecourts on a Sunday night, hanging out with my brother Stephen. Stephen introduced them in the pub. They met that night, and then they had their first wedding, which was the first wedding, the Irish style first wedding. Get her done.
Yep.
And they had the reception at the forecourts as well.
Oh, brilliant!
So, not only did they meet at the pub, they had their reception at the pub.
Yeah.
And I know many others actually. A good friend of mine, my old neighbors as well, where they actually met the forecourts as well.
Do you feel like
it was an Irish bartender brought them together?
Was it really?
I don't know who used to work in.
Do you feel like being Irish here, proper Irish here? Do you feel like? Do you ever feel railroaded into being the Irish lad? Like,
definitely. Oh, definitely.
Like you have to fit this caricature.
Yeah. Well, that's the gift and the curse of being Irish, right? You're expected to have the pint. You're expected to be going for drinks. You're expected to always be up for it.
Yeah.
And the problem is usually you are, but it's.
I mean, we are both that kind of person.
Totally, but it's like it's the old adage of we'll go for one. What does one pint mean? One pint means at least two.
Yeah,
go for a couple of pints means four.
You're going for one, it's two.
Yes.
You're going for a couple, it's about 5. You're going for a few, you might be out.
Which is
for 10 or a dozen. It depends on who's with you.
It's fucking fantastic, but also really, hard going. So I told you this, like we had a big night in New York, which, wrecked me more than it ever needed to.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. But crazily enough, the conversations that happened that night in the pub, talking to a second. By the way, that's the Wolf Tones, Black and Tans in the background, of course. Conversations that night in the pub in New York City at Murphy's Pub. I think it was on not Lexington, but one over, I think, or something.
Yeah,
created more conversations for a shift the next day, and again spiraling, like you said, like the serendipity of it all.
Yeah,
like and it was because of going for those pints.
Well, I think that's the value of a good conference, is that you learn in the conference.
Yeah,
you're learning, you get your updates, you kind of whatever it is, you're pushing your knowledge forward, you're refreshing your expertise, all that stuff. But the networking and the chats you have afterwards,
but the pint breaks down the barrier, right? It brings down the obstacle, makes people listen up. Like the reality is that's what it does.
Yeah,
you know, and even working with people, I'm sure you take out your staff the whole time. You know,
I'm taking my staff to Ireland in February. I am. Yeah, I asked them. I said, look, if we hit our goals this year and we have a good year, I'll take it somewhere. And they chose Ireland. So it's.
Well, listen, this is the point in the conversation. I'm going to make sure we're still recording after last week's shenanigans. We're all good, Patrick. Look at that.
Good stuff.
Technology is our friend today.
Good stuff.
But yeah, no, that's goes to the talking about the pints and whatever else. That's why I'm on the extra or the zero. I was going to say extra cold. The Guinness Zero.
Okay. Are you done? Or are you just drying out, or how do you describe what you're doing right now?
So honestly, I don't want to be constrained by the caricature. And maybe that's a little bit dramatic.
Okay, so it's interesting that I asked.
I fucking love the pints. And I don't even mean to say that in a way like I want to go getting fucking wasted. I love having a pint, and I love the taste of a drink.
Yep.
I love the Guinness. I do like beer. No, but I don't want to be. I feel like it's a discipline thing.
It's a what?
It's a discipline thing.
Discipline, okay.
Like I don't want to be. I want to decide what I want to do, and not be at the behest of like whether it's the Irish caricature, whether it's like they have like not being able to go to the pub because you can't have a pint. I will absolutely go to the pub, you know. And I think these days with so many options, it allows you to do that while still, you know, maintaining the fact that you're a 44-year-old man in the world that has responsibilities and has got to get up in the morning and has got shit to do.
Yeah,
you know. So it's kind of just so it's God knows it's an experiment, we'll call it.
Yeah.
You know?
So when I came over here, I hadn't had a drink. My dad's a pioneer. Never touched this up.
That's same as my dad. Never drank.
So there was part of it was upbringing, I guess. I thought my ma would have the odd occasional one, but generally didn't drink for my dad.
Yeah. That's identical to my story, but anyway.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No
same.
And then the sports that I was playing was high level, so it was highly discouraged. Nowhere near as serious as it is today.
Yeah.
But we were just before the sports science kind of stuff that we see today.
Did you go to the gym at all when you were like in your teenage years? Did you was that a thing?
No.
Yeah.
No, we did team runs sometimes. Yeah. We did the odd team 5-mile run. But there was no gym, there was no lifting.
Yeah.
It was all push-ups and sit-ups and cardio and all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what it was. And now my mates loved it because I was the fucking driver. As soon as I was old enough to drive, Mum and Dad had a Renault Laguna, and I could cram 5 of us in there or whatever. Yeah. Or 6 of us in.
So would you say you must have always been comfortable with just hanging out, having the crack and maintaining composure?
Yeah. So I would go to the pubs and the nightclubs with my mates every weekend, and I was the icebreaker. I have 3 younger sisters.
Okay.
So I think my mates would need a pint or 2 just to settle. Where I'd be like,
you'll be
I'll
good.
Just go over and say hello.
Yeah.
Like, right. So
So answer me this.
Yeah.
So you're sitting around, especially in a fucking, you know, probably 15 or 16, never mind 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Were you just seeing people like around you just turning from like stone cold sober bit by bit, like watching the clock as their face goes, and things out of control?
Yeah.
Because it does get out of control.
And you lose your personal space boundaries.
Oh, totally.
One of the first things that changes is your personal space boundaries. Like you're just talking into someone's ear. But so I went knackered drinking and didn't drink.
Yeah. Bush lushing.
Like Bush flushing.
Ballina, bush flushing.
So I'd go and sit and have the crack with them while they were drinking their 2-liter bottles of cider or whatever it was. And I just didn't.
Yeah.
And then I think the reason for the caricature thing was so I had my first pint in Washington, D.C. after I got here.
Where was it? Where was it?
The 4 Ps on Connecticut Avenue.
That's across the street from Nanny O'Brien's. Nanny's is my favorite pub for many, many years.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And
so you got a story about this one, right? What's the deal with the 4 Ps? You got some connection with that as well?
Jesus, yeah. Right. Okay. So
was it the
So my mum and dad worked in America in the mid-70s. And my dad was a chauffeur for the embassy and my mum was the chef. I
have so many questions about this, but I'm going to leave it for today. Keep staying where you are, because we're going to get back some other day. We're going to get really into this.
Yeah, we can drill down on that.
Go on.
So they were packing to have me, or they were getting ready, preparing to go home. The visas were expiring, and they were going home or whatever. And I was born. And I don't know if I was a little premature or what, but I was born, and my mum was driven to Georgetown Hospital where I was born, and then driven back to the embassy. So I had 2 passports from the day that I was born. And I'd never availed of it.
Yeah.
And my parents had always kept a passport active, just so I had a citizenship.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the embassy in Ballsbridge as a child to take the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was always a citizen. And anyway, so the 4 Ps connection is the owner of the 4 Ps was my dad's best friend. They threw darts.
Yeah.
And even though my dad isn't a drinker, that's interesting, right? So he's not a drinker.
Well,
he's never drank.
He knew where
he goes
the embassy was.
He goes to the fucking pub and throws darts and hangs out all the time.
Yeah.
And that was his local. So because of the way it happened, my godfather on my birth cert is my uncle that lived in Tala.
Back home, right?
And I got christened here. And my uncle couldn't get over for it. So my godfather on my christening cert was the owner of the 4 Ps. And when I came over, and Mum and Dad had been like, look, just go to DC when you get there and find the 4 Ps.
That's the story.
And go say hi to Frank.
Yeah.
Right? Frank is his name. And I walked in and I asked where Frank was, and I saw him and I walked over and I said, hey, Frank. He goes, yeah.
Did you order a pint first?
No, I hadn't had a pint yet. I went straight.
You're just going to see
finding for him. Right. Yeah, straight looking for him. And I said, you don't know me, we've never met. And he goes, you're Patrick Blood. Like right away.
That's class.
Having just met me. And he goes, you are the fucking image of your dad. And I don't remember being told that on a regular basis at home. But for a man who hadn't seen my dad in 20 odd years, that he recognized.
So is that why you had your first pint? Did he buy you the pint? Was it a decision?
Yeah, we sat
in
and
the
had a
moment?
Pint. Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't know I didn't drink.
Oh, that's lovely.
Or hadn't had a drink yet. And I think I had.
What did you have?
That was one of those that turned into a few.
Yeah.
Like my first proper drinking night was
locked in the space of a few.
Yeah, it's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. But isn't it? It's the.
Was your first pint of Guinness or what was it?
Yeah, Guinness. Yeah. And when you travel, what I've noticed, to tie that to my own life now, when you travel, the world gets a lot smaller. And I've often had those kind of weird coincidences where you meet someone that knows someone, or the first time I went to New York, I was walking down Broadway, and I heard someone call my school nickname.
What was your school nickname?
Pajo.
Pajo. Oh, of course.
Pajo, right?
Pajo.
Only my school friends call me Pajo. And
that's maybe even better than Whacker. Pajo. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Pajo was.
Because
that was how the jukebox. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Right. My 3 best mates, we all used to watch Pajo's jukebox on Saturday morning. And
leave it if you like.
He answered some fucking fan letter one morning, which was, "What's your real name?" or something. And he goes, "Oh, it's Patrick."
And that's where
that's where my nickname began. Yeah.
And did you have that nickname all the way through school and all that?
Yep. Like there's people that still only call me that now.
Yeah. Well, do you want to know what my nickname was?
100%. What is it?
It's the most ridiculous, silliest, stupidest.
All right. Well, what is it, and where does it come from?
Because I moved from Mayo, everyone started calling me Mayo. So in that whole, again, in Fermanagh, every single person had a nickname. Like it was not.
Surely that turned into Hellman's at some point.
It didn't. It was like
just say the Mayo.
And not as much until I come over here, and so my friends will come over and they'll still call me Mayo, and people will be like, "What the fuck is that? Mayonnaise?" Whatever.
Well, that's kind of,
you know,
that's like, nicknames are great because they have deep personal meanings.
Yeah,
I love it. That's great.
I'll take it. Again, it's good to, if you have a nickname as well, it means you've earned it. You just know that it's not too bad.
Yes.
Some people get,
that's like walking down Broadway and Pajo from across the street.
Okay, that's great.
And it was a lad that I'd gone to school with, and we ended up chatting. And that would turn into another one of those days where you just have one of those coincidences. It was quite early in the morning, and we found the fucking pub, and we sat and we caught up over the last 20 years.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was actually fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was in New York lately, and I was like, it really hit me how much Irish there are there. Like we're in DC, and if you go to the Irish pub, there's obviously Irish working there.
Yeah.
Generally,
Yep.
which I think is it's important. By the way, there needs to be at least a couple of people. Like sometimes we go
in the
to
cities there are.
Yeah.
They'll because you get the J1. It's easy enough to get them housing, close enough to walk.
Yeah.
Don't need cars.
But I swear to God, in New York, you will hear an Irish accent wherever you go. Like you like it's. Yep. It's a big city. There's a lot of people.
I think it's
why a hell of a lot of Irish.
It's why I am kind of settling in DC. I think because
you wanted to kind of get away.
For the first several weeks or months that I was here, I didn't go to the Irish pub. I wanted to. I wanted
weeks.
Weeks. Well,
you held out for 28 days.
But everyone would say that the best places to go were the Irish pubs.
Yeah.
So it kind of like stuck, but. The population of Irish people here isn't that massive.
Yeah,
it's a small kind of cute, quaint collection.
There's plenty of them around, but they're not everywhere.
Yeah,
but that's what hit me when it was New York. I couldn't I was just like, and maybe I was up there for like the Irish Startup Week when a bunch of startups came over. It was really, really cool. So a bunch of startups came over from Ireland that are hoping to like either move to America or to expand their business, whatever. Wow. So that was amazing. Just meeting like the Tech Circle and Digital Irish, amazing organization, just pulls it all together. But even outside of that, the fact that I would just walk around and like I would hear accents, and then even a bar that I went into that wasn't technically an Irish pub had an Irishman behind the bar. You know?
Yep.
And
I think the caricature is real.
Yeah.
But we also identify ourselves that way to an extent as well.
I was inspired to at least do a few long, hard weeks on the non-alcoholic drinks, because I was in New York and I met up with a friend of mine, Bart, who owns a company similar to mine, whatever else. But I went for a pint with him in an Irish pub.
Yeah.
And again, I showed up thinking, here we go again. Here's someone that's trying to get me on the booze again because I'm the Irish lad. I'm the one who's always up for it. Went to an Irish pub and he started ordering. He's like, listen, he pointed behind the bar and he's like, look, I was like, because I asked him, he was saying like he's off the drink, whatever else. And he says that he says he's off for a year and enjoying himself, still going out and enjoying himself. And I was like, so what's the secret? How do you do it? Like what's going on? And he pointed behind the bar, and this is a New York Irish pub, into a fridge behind the bar that had like 4, maybe I think it was 5 non-alcoholic options. And he was like, listen, it's fucking easy. Like a couple of years ago, there would be like Caliber. Right?
Yeah.
Caliber, which is
that'd be about it.
And it's rough.
Yeah.
To say the least. Like, that's the punishment Caliber was the punishment for even thinking about not having a pint. Yeah. But like there was a bunch of options from Guinness Zero all the way through to the Athletic and a bunch of stuff in between. So like if there's options. And to the point about the pub, I don't want to fucking change my whole existence. I like what I do. I like meeting people. I like hanging out.
Yep.
So like, own it for a few weeks.
I think when you break it down, our culture isn't the drink. The culture is a social.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a socializing.
I think the drink we have to admit it is a big part of it, right? Maybe
it comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's why the zeros will do well.
Yeah. Because it's not necessary, right?
You're coming from the socializing. Yeah. This feels like a bit of a shield.
Yeah.
But if that was a Coke, it would still feel the same shield. I'm holding a Guinness.
It doesn't feel that way for me.
Does
The
it not?
Coke won't work. The Coke won't. No,
Okay.
this works. The Coke does not work.
Okay.
You know, I think it just feels. It's like, again, it's a conditioning thing, right? Like, this is where we're used to drinking this. Where I enjoy it. It makes me feel at home. But like, like, I love the things. I love, this is part of the picture. You know.
Yeah.
But no, it's like we were saying earlier on. Like, it's, you know, it's not. I would say, what is it? It's a piece of it, but it's not maybe integral.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, it's,
that's fair.
It's the music, it's the culture, it's the crack, it's the, you know, it's the fact that we have one of these in every fucking city.
Like, every city. Like, when was it we said? There's some lad on Jeopardy or something. There's a lad on Jeopardy 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he won most of that week of episodes. And he was from somewhere like in New Hampshire or somewhere, but he had the most Irish name, and he considered himself Irish. And he commented that there was no Irish pubs in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick.
In Mexico City.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Ah, no.
I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, well, there's a fucking business opportunity for somebody. And
I'm going to look that one up. That
I know, right?
possible.
I haven't looked it up yet either, but
because Mexico City was like 20 million or something.
you'd imagine there has to be a fucking decent Irish pub in Mexico City.
Yeah.
That
where's the furthest? I think you told me your furthest away was it like Bali, or was it Thailand or somewhere?
No, mine's Maui.
Maui.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maui. Mulligan's on the Green in Maui. That's the West Mead, lad.
The furthest one I've been away to is China, and I cannot remember the name of the Irish pub.
What city was it in?
It was Beijing.
It was in Beijing.
Beijing. There was a few of them.
Was that any good?
It was.
Yeah.
It actually, like, it felt like, you know, when you, and this isn't the same for all bars, but you know when you go during the day, there's nobody around.
Yeah.
And most places, it's like that takes away from the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But like, even in here right now, like, I like the quiet sound of the pub.
Yep.
There's something.
Yep.
Magical about it.
It's the clinks of the glasses and the fucking low music.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
It's just. I don't know why. It's welcoming. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad. Well, you finished your 16 ounces, and I've got about.
Well, you got a couple of fingers left in that.
It's mad. It's mad considering.
Come on, Patrick, do you need to do that to me? He's all right. He's a bigger man. I was about to say I'm doing fine, like no problem at all. You fucking tower over me with that beast of a glass.
But I had a good laugh with. Was it here? No, here it wasn't here. It was one of the other Virginia Irish pubs. I asked for a pint of Guinness, and they gave me that. And I was like, "What the fuck's up with the baby pint?" And they're like, yeah, sorry. All right, listen, we have the proper glasses back there for people like you." Like people like me. Do I sound like a fucking Karen now? Like,
yeah, that's right.
Special case people. But yeah.
Definitely, I remember the only time I've ever ordered a pint in a sports bar that wasn't Guinness, a sports bar that was not an Irish pub, and it's in Courthouse in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah.
And I remember getting it back, and I've never been so angry, we'll say, in my life. I thought, what the fuck is this? What is this?
Carnage.
And this is how we are. Sorry. Like, this is just how we are.
Yep.
Like, the pints are better in Dublin. Of course they are. And yes, the pints are better in the proper Irish bar and all the stuff.
Yep. That's,
but sometimes you have to live the caricature. Sometimes you gotta be who you are.
I feel like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Bottoms up.
Well, drink up.
All right.
Enjoy it. Good to see you again, my friend.
Great chat.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
And we'll do it next month.
Good luck.
All the best, lads.
Good luck now.
And yes, tell your friends, all your friends, go to the crack.us and just get them to sign up. Give us a hand, lads. Go on. Would you give us a hand? All right. All right.